Welcome back. Last month was the 10-year anniversary of the death of 78-year-old Joe Gatto. He was a very much beloved member of the community in Silver Lake, former teacher, involved with all sorts of institutions there and young people. He was found slumped over at a desk inside his home, the result apparently of a home invasion robbery. That murder has not been solved. His son is former California State Assemblyman Mike Gatto, who is in the process of writing a book about what he and his family have gone through. Noir by Necessity, How My Father's Unsolved Murder Took Me to Dark Places. That book is out in March. It's available for pre-order. He joins us now. Mike, thanks for taking the time. So you were in the legislature when you got a call from your sister who said she hadn't heard from your dad, went to visit him, and it was looking bad. She thought he was dead.
My first feeling was disbelief. But over the course of the night, we got little tidbits that it appeared that he had been shot and that he was indeed dead. And, that triggered this whirlwind for me. The specific details that we were able to glean over all these years is that, my father was home the night before, November 12th. He had just bought a printer at the Los Feliz Costco, and there's a video of him doing it. He got home at some point. There's no signs of forced entry. There's nothing really missing from the house except some jewelry, not a whole lot of things. And someone got into his house, managed to get all the way to his third floor bedroom, and for some reason shot him. To us, that has been one of the hardest things to swallow. There are so many anomalies, Conan, with this case. If you go down one theory, there's a million holes that come up. And then if you switch your theory, there's a million holes on the other side. It has been very, very hard to understand.
So what is the goal with this book?
I wanted to make people aware of what any family goes through when they have a loved one murdered. It has been a long journey these last 10 years. A lot of false hope, a lot of bad leads, a lot of people out there who want to manipulate things for their own benefit. And I had no idea. Nothing could have prepared me for what happened to me and my family. But I wanted to give people a little insight into what the family of murder victims go through.
What is it that you went through?
Well, first of all, the justice system, we hear a lot about how the justice system could get better for those who are convicted. And I'm the first to agree with that. I think we don't necessarily do a good job rehabilitating people who commit crimes. But there's almost nothing. There's almost no support out there for victims and their families. And there's very little that prepares you for what you're going to go through. I mean, I had things happen to me like people called me and said, hey, we see the guy who appeared in the police sketch, who's a person of interest for your father's murder. He's right outside my house right now. This happened twice. And we went over there, sirens blazing. I drove like a maniac as fast as I could, only to find out, and I'm making a very long story short, that the person was upset about a homeless encampment in front of their house and made this up to try to get the police to do some action. I mean, it's things like that that really are strange and kind of difficult to go through. The other thing that some more insight on some of the things that I've gone through is people have called me with all sorts of strange and wacky leads. I've had people say that the Clinton family did this to my father. I mean, just really wild stuff. And that's another point that I try to get across is that when a crime is unsolved, the victim's family takes the role of a detective too. You can't help but do it. And so for me, sometimes my father's case has turned into an obsession, if not a full-time job.
I'm curious, among other things, Prop 47, which changed the drug laws and the property crime laws in the state, also reduced the amount of DNA in the system. That is, we don't take it from people arrested for those kind of crimes. Do you believe if we did that could have helped in finding your killer, that person, whoever's responsible, could be easily involved in another crime, but we don't know about it because the law no longer lets us take DNA samples from them?
I think there's a very good chance, and you're touching on a theme that has been very unique, I think, from my experience. And that was, for 7 years, I was a policymaker, including 3 years after my father's death. I was a policymaker charged with making these laws and trying to do something about them. There was a development right after my father's case where a court of appeal tried to strike down the entire DNA testing system in California. And then I had to scramble to write legislation to preserve it. And I talk about that fight in my book. But Prop 47 has destroyed the justice system in California. It's destroyed our streets. It has turned so many people who need help to overcome a drug addiction and other things. It's turned them loose on our streets. And as you noted, it has completely redone and greatly diminished our capacity to test people for DNA. I agree with you. I think that there's a very, very good chance that if we had tested the numbers of people who we tested before Prop 47, that my father's case would be a lot further on being solved, or would have been solved already.
The book, available for pre-order, coming out in March, Noir by Necessity, How My Father's Unsolved Murder Took Me to Dark Places, the story of the death of Joe Gatto, beloved member of the Silver Lake community, and written by his son, former Assemblyman Mike Gatto. Thank you very much for taking the time, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Conan.
We'll have some final comments after this.